white and purple horizontal stripes with the gray shorts and the purple numbers on the back of their shirts, going from left to right over the opening 45 minutes. Tonight's officials, referee is Thomas George. Mark Lammerhurt and Nicola Jalar are the assistants, and our fourth official, because it is a league game, is David Marshall. Thomas George signals, let's get this game underway, and the Raiders do just that. Immediately put out of play by Aram Uligian. Took a deflection off a Crusader, so the Raiders have won an early throw. And this is a Raiders team that's been hovering around 500 for a while now. They've hit a bit of a skid lately, having lost 4 of 5 coming into play tonight. And in those 4 losses, the common denominator for Colgate has been they failed to score. So overall, their record currently stands at 5-6-1, and even 2-2 in Patriot League play. The Raiders came in tied with American for 4th in the conference standings with 6 points on the season. Colgate, though, does own the tiebreaker over the Eagles by virtue of that 2-1 come-from-behind win here a few weeks ago at Bayer Small 76 Field. Stroud tried to slip this ball ahead. It was broken up and fell for Kafora. Now Joey DeVivo in the middle of the park. Kafora again gets it out wide, and Holy Cross has its first touches of the game. The Crusaders have played a dozen games on the season, and their record a very palindromic one of 4 wins, 4 losses, and 4 draws. Of their 4 Patriot League games, they've won 1, lost 1, and drawn the other 2, so 5 points from 4 league games for the Crusaders. They came into the play tonight in sole possession of 6th place with 5 points in the league, so they're trying to leapfrog the Raiders and move up the conference table with a victory here tonight. Thrown in along the far side for the Raiders, a little more than 90 seconds gone. Holy Cross trying to counter here as a couple Raiders lose their balance. Play back into the middle away from Oberg at Villano, and it's now sent back to the Holy Cross back line. Tim Frisetto up ahead for Kafora. Now it's Gibbons. Ryan Gavey showed a lot of the ball there to Scudari. Tommen steps up. Kafora controls outside the Raiders' penalty area. Wide right for Villano. The cross comes in, and it's met by a diving Ricky Brown, the junior goalkeeper for the Raiders, the native of Laguna Hills, California. He is back in goal after Peter Tappenden made his first career start at Cornell on Tuesday. Didn't play poorly at all, made 4 saves in the Raiders' 1-0 loss against the Big Red, as Cornell scored very early in that game before 6 minutes were played. And despite the Raiders creating plenty of chances throughout the game, they could not strike back and level the score. Little back heel flick on by Ethan Cutler ends up in the goalkeeper, at the feet of the goalkeeper Kevin Wright, wearing the all-yellow kit there for the Crusaders. He wears number 30, 6-foot senior from McKinney, Texas, making his 60th career appearance tonight for the Crusaders. His record matches that of the team, 4-4-4, .62 goals against average, 830 save percentage, 39 saves made over the 12 games. That ball was handled by Kafora. Not sure there was much he could have done about it from close quarters, but the call goes the Raiders' way. They have a free kick inside their own half. Wright has kept 3 clean sheets on the season, and combined for a 4th with backup keeper Henry Stutz. This Crusaders team, very stingy when it comes to defense. If you're looking for a high-scoring game, on paper this is not going to be one. This is a Raiders team that has scored just 2 goals over its last 5 games, and those 2 came in the same game in the first half of that 2-0 win at Bucknell last Saturday. The Crusaders have only conceded 8 all season long. In fact, their team goals against average, 11th best in the country entering play this weekend. O'Neill to Oberg, slips past one man, tried to get it through to Forbes, and Oberg eventually concedes a free kick there. A little too physical on Luke Melody. Taken quickly at the back by Frisetto. A little more than 4 minutes played here at Bayer Small. No scoring, no shots so far. All 10 Patriot League teams in action today. 2 games being played concurrently with this one, and a pair of finals from earlier today. Both 1-0 score lines. Both those goals came on own goals. Boston University claiming a 1-0 win at Lafayette on the Leopards' own goal in the 92nd minute of the game. Another 1-0 overtime win for the Terriers this season. They claimed one here about a week and a half ago. Oberg swings this ball out wide. Knotted away and picked up by Gibbons. Raider goes to ground. It's back with Tommen. Now Carl Brown. And back to Tommen. The Crusaders dropping behind the ball for the moment as Oberg will spray this out wide for Scudari. With Brown and Tommen and Uligian all out there at the same time, it's a very sizable and tall back line the Raiders have. With Carl Brown here just inside the Holy Cross half. Nice run being made by Forbes. He tried to turn it back after bringing it down for Cutler. The ball was well behind him. So it's Yuji Callahan, the native of Okinawa, Japan. This ball is given away pretty cheaply. It's Troy Mupen. Chips one ahead beyond the reach of Cutler. It curls inside the Holy Cross penalty area and is picked up for the first time this evening by goalkeeper Kevin Wright. Mentioned the Crusaders win over Duke on Tuesday night as Holy Cross got a goal in the second half from the aforementioned Yuji Callahan. A brilliant strike from outside the penalty area. The Crusaders came away with that one-zip win despite being outshot 19-7 by the Blue Devils. Kevin Wright making 5 saves in net for Holy Cross to preserve the clean sheet and the victory. And Holy Cross on Tuesday, not the only Patriot League team to defeat an ACC foe, as American traveled to the University of Virginia, last year's Division I men's soccer champions, and came away with a victory against the Cavaliers. Mupen's got a throw in here for Colgate. A little past 6.5 minutes gone by. Raiders enjoying most of the possession so far. We've seen a few teams try to do this to Colgate this year. Try to make them build out of the back. Physical confrontation along the far side. Forbes was involved. Scudari making a run across the field. Cutler didn't see him. A lot of traffic in the way, of course. Mupen back to O'Neill. Hooks it back for Carl Brown. Now it's Oberg. Flicks it wide for Scudari. Oberg, Scudari, and they tried another combination play. Did not quite link up. And Wright hustles over off his line to pick it up before Forbes could get there. Tonight's game, the 28th meeting all-time between Colgate and the College of the Holy Cross. The Raiders have won 14, Holy Cross 8, and there's been 5 draws. Last time they met, it was a 5-goal thriller in Worcester a season ago. Fair challenge made by Oberg, gets it back from Forbes, that overran the ball. The Raiders led 2-0 at halftime. Holy Cross struck back. Ethan Cutler added what at the time looked like an insurance goal on a penalty with about 10 minutes to play. Holy Cross got another one late to make it interesting for the last couple minutes, but Colgate came away with a 3-2 win. Oberg was battling with Kafora in the center circle. Kafora won that battle. Meldy plays it out wide. And now a giveaway. Cutler wins it back. The Raiders trying to strike on the counter. Cutler flying down the right side. Will keep this ball in play. Takes the cross for first time, and it is deflected behind off Brad Ross. Colgate has won the first corner of the evening. Coming up on the 9-minute mark of elapsed time in the opening half. Cutler prepares to take this corner. He has Mupen there with him if he opts to play it short. He does not. Came into the middle looking for Tom and didn't make it through to him. And now can the Crusaders catch the Raiders on the break? Colin O'Neill comes over to prevent that. Now it is Mupen. And the Raiders will get reorganized. The big center backs are trotting back to their positions. It was Uligian and Tommen who were forward on that corner. Oberg has fit in very nicely in the Raiders midfield. This is his first season here, the 5th member of his family to attend Colgate. He has 1 assist to his name in his freshman campaign. Stroud making a nice run. Almost worked out. Taken first time by Forbes. What a finish. Colgate on top. Forbes was not the intended target of that ball. I'm not sure if Stroud got a touch to it or not, but it was taken first time on the half volley by Tyler Forbes. A dipping, curling effort that sailed over the hands of goalkeeper Kevin Wright and fell just underneath the crossbar. A brilliant finish by Forbes for his first of the season. Colgate 1, Holy Cross 0, and the Raiders doing what they did so well early on in this season, which was score in the first 10-15 minutes of the match. Can they add to it now is the question. Carl Brown, pressured by a couple of Crusaders. Tommins plays it wide. Uligian there, in front of the Raiders bench. Hammered ahead. Intervening was Gibbons. The goal announced as Forbes unassisted. And the Raiders have now struck first for the 7th time this season. The previous 6 times they've done so, they've won 4, lost once, and drawn once. Only the 2nd time, though, for Colgate. It's the last 8 games that the Raiders have struck first. Scudari looking to set up another one here with Stroud. Cuts back on his right foot at the edge of the area, but robbed of the ball by Villano. Pinballing off some legs there. Raiders trying to pin Holy Cross deep. Gavey will just put this out for a Colgate throw. We mentioned earlier on in the broadcast that Holy Cross very stingy defensively, and that's a little bit out of necessity. The Crusaders have not generated a whole lot on offense this season, just a little more than a goal a game. 13 goals for in 12 previous games this season. And of those 13, 8 of those came in a 1-week stretch back in September. 5-0 win over Sacred Heart, 3-1 over Quinnipiac. So just 5 goals over the other 10 games this year for the Crusaders. Giveaway in the middle of the park. Cutler played it forward. Just hacked ahead by Tim Frisetto. Powerful clearance by the Holy Cross center back. Ricky Brown backpedals and doesn't pick it up until he absolutely has to. It was hit high into the very dark and chilly night sky here in Hamilton by Brown. And Forbes, the goal scorer, emerged with it. Carl Brown sprinting forward. He's beaten to that ball and turning the corner on him, Kafora. Good speed by Brown to get back, forcing Kafora back. Villano, pressured by Scudari. The Raiders exerting a little bit of a high press here. And Forbes conceding a free kick there. Oh, and then a little push in the back, along with some play acting by Forbes. Frisetto took none too kindly to the physical foul from Forbes. And then gave him a little shove in the back afterwards. And as the British soccer commentators say, he made a meal of it. Back underway following the Crusaders' free kick. Once again, the Raiders with the high press. This is Luke Melody as Holy Cross has broken through it this time. Callahan inviting Gibbons forward. There's been only one shot so far in nearly 14 minutes of game action. That was that brilliant left-footed strike by Forbes to put the home team on front. Nice challenge there by O'Neill. Ball wouldn't settle for him, so he just hacked it ahead. Cutler holding up play with his back to goal inside his own half. Tries to hook it out wide. Holy Cross head in the way. Comes back to Uligian. Chested down by the Crusaders. Melody felt the challenge coming from Oberg. Sloppy pass there. Scudari sliding in to win it back. Oberg settles it down. Holy Cross trying to find his defensive shape. Flicked over to O'Neill from Oberg, and now Carl Brown. Scudari making a run in behind. And the offside flag was up from the assistant referee along the far side. First offside call of the evening. Nearly a quarter of an hour gone at Myers Small 76 Field. The Raiders were 1-0 up before 10 minutes were gone. Tomlin lets this ball back for Ricky Brown, 20 yards or so off his line, for a powerful clearance back the other way. A collision between Forbes and a Crusader defender. This time it was Gavey who got in the way. Now Forbes pressuring Kevin Wright. Pops up this clearance very short. Melody and Scudari were battling away for it. Nodded on to the feet of Melody. Tonight marks the 8th time that the Crusaders have allowed the first goal of a game this season. Haven't won any of the previous 7, but Holy Cross has come back to earn 3 draws while losing the other 4. Trying to make something happen here, it's DeVivo. Still DeVivo. Squares it back inside. Uligian couldn't handle it. The Raiders cleared away. Now it's Gibbons. And Uligian gets to this. Clears it ahead to Mupen. The Raiders defense in full scramble mode there. And Mupen plays this ball out off a Crusader leg to win a throw for the Raiders. And that should alleviate some of the pressure that was growing there. First real questions asked by the Holy Cross attack so far this evening. Villano in the middle of the park. Physical challenge there by O'Neill on Kafora. Deemed to be okay. This cross comes in first time. Headed away by Carl Brown. Scudari couldn't get to that. Tripped over the ball. Kafora looking for a lane to shoot. This ball taken wide. And the cross came in, met by the head of Carl Brown. And Stroud just flicks it on. Forbes with Cutler ahead of him. And Cutler couldn't dance around the outside of Brad Ross. That stalled that Raiders counterattack anyways. Now O'Neill looking to go direct over the top. Forbes was making the run, but that ball has seen its way out of play. And 27.5 minutes remaining of the initial 45 in this first half. We mentioned the 2 final scores in Patriot League play earlier today. 2 other games going on right now. At West Point, Army hosting American, and in Bethlehem, PA, Lehigh hosting Loyola. We'll keep you up to speed on the action in those 2 games throughout tonight's broadcast. Plenty of other Raider final scores from a very busy Saturday in Colgate sports. We'll get to those when we can. Oberg from O'Neill. Stroud plays it wide to Cutler. Mupen to O'Neill. Pressured from behind. Carl Brown with some space. Sloppy pass, and he's given the ball away. It's 1 against 3, make it 2 against 4. This is DeVivo. Tomlin stepping in. DeVivo went to ground. Now Kafora locked up with O'Neill, or I beg your pardon, that's Oberg. Kafora lining up a shot, struck his own teammate in the backside, and Brown will eventually gather. An unsuspecting UG Callahan got in the way of that shot. Probably wasn't going to trouble Ricky Brown from that distance anyways. Tomlin and Carl Brown just having a kick back and forth. From one Brown to another, Carl back to Ricky. A moment or two ago, I alluded to plenty of other final scores in Colgate sports action today. Probably the biggest one came from our nation's capital, where the football team improved to 2-0 in Patriot League play. Forbes trying to get on the end of this, no luck, and this is just hacked ahead, put out by Tim Oberg. The Raiders
got away with not scoring a single point in the second half. They led 17-0 over Georgetown at the half, and despite allowing a couple field goals and a touchdown in the fourth quarter, Colgate came away with a 17-13 win over the Hoyas, completing a 4-game road stretch at 3-1, so now 3-4 on the season. More importantly, though, 2-0 in league play. A well-deserved bye week coming up for Dan Hunt's team before they take on Fordham. Could be a chance for Holy Cross here. The block made by Carl Brown, and that one pinballs around a little bit on the clearance made by Tommen. That was DeVivo who had the opportunity. A timely block made there. Is Holy Cross starting to seize the initiative on the attack? A low line drive cross met by the head of Uligian. Not much in that clearance from Oberg. A couple men wipe out there at the edge of the area. Play's blown dead for a free kick to the Raiders. Coming up on the midway point of the opening half already. Colgate with a chance to move into a tie for second place in the conference standings with Navy with a win tonight. Boston University well ahead of the field with 13 points. Navy in second place, still stuck on 9 after that loss at Bucknell today. Stroud's the ball over the top for Cutler. Had too much on it, so it was easily gathered by Wright. Callahan. That one deflects out off Mupen. Diego Cerrone will throw in for Holy Cross. Melody trying to play into Vivo, who was making a run in behind Carl Brown. Brown slid in to break it up, and then as Oberg was trying to break away, he was tripped up by Melody, so it's a free kick to the Raiders. Final from women's hockey action earlier today from Providence, Rhode Island. Colgate 6, Providence 2. The Raiders now 3-0 on the young season with 16 goals over the first 3 games. Brilliant start for Greg Fargo's team, lighting up scoreboards all across the Northeast in October. They'll have a chance to do so again tomorrow afternoon as they take on the Yukon Huskies, 2 p.m. puck drop in Connecticut. And a couple games at Merrimack next weekend. Cutler goes to ground. Nothing wrong with that challenge. Kafora dropped it back for Cerrone. Looking ahead for DeVivo. Tommen helped win the ball away from him. Forbes leaving it for Oberg. Squares it off to invite Carl Brown forward. Big number 17 looking for number 13, Forbes. Couldn't connect. And hacked ahead by the Crusaders. And a needless free kick given away by Tommen. Little left arm shove in the back of DeVivo. Free kick coming up for the Crusaders. They've outshot Colgate 2-1 so far. But the one shot for the Raiders, a wonder strike from the left boot of Tyler Forbes. 9 minutes and 47 seconds into the action this evening. The free kick taken by Frassetto. Brown wins the header. Mupen chases it down. The sophomore from Jamaica trying to free Cutler up the right wing. Taken back, and this one leading Callahan too far. Uligian watches it go behind for a goal kick for Ricky Brown. 21 minutes exactly left to play before halftime. Ricky Brown taking a lot of time to set this goal kick up. And Stroud is just tackled to the ground by Brad Ross. It'll be a free kick for the Raiders. Foul count continues to climb here in the first half. Total of 7 so far. A couple minutes past the midway point of opening half play. Cutler's delivery, eventually tracked down by Uligian, making a run up the left, was Stroud. Stroud takes it to the byline, tries to hook in the cross. It was blocked. Then cleared ahead by Holy Cross, only as far as Scudari. Battling with Kafora, the turf monster takes him out of the play. Allows Scudari to get it back to his goalkeeper. Whacked ahead by Ricky Brown. Stroud tries to hold it in play along the near touchline, but runs out of room. Final score from women's soccer action earlier today. Colgate falling 3-1 at Navy. Emily Pullen scoring her first career goal for the Raiders. It leveled the score at 1-1 about midway through the first half. Navy getting a couple goals late in the second half to come away with that 3-1 win down in Annapolis. So Colgate will travel to Army West Point this coming Wednesday and is back here a week from tonight. 5 p.m. kickoff as the Raiders take on the Greyhounds of Loyola University, Maryland. This will be Uligian's free kick. That man is a cannon for a right leg. Cutler gets to this one, but the play is blown dead. It will be another free kick for the Raiders. And this will be well within Cutler's range to score. Probably about 30 yards out. Ethan did not have a hand, at least officially, in the box score on the first Colgate goal this evening. Only the 5th time this season he has not been involved in a Colgate goal. He scored 5 and helped set up 3 others. Cutler's delivery. It's a good one. It hits the upright. The wrong side if you're a Colgate fan, and ricochets behind. He bent it around the wall, and if that's another yard out, that's in the bottom corner, and Colgate's up 2-0. Instead, just a goal kick for Kevin Wright. The home team getting ready to make the first change of the evening. Powerful header from Uligian forward. This ball falls for Mupen. Great bit of touch to keep it in play along that far boundary. Mupen kept going, taking on about 3 Crusaders all at once. They eventually took the ball away from him. Callahan left that there. Return ball to him, flicked on. Try to square it off back to Callahan. An unselfish play from Villano. And now it is Oberg. He had Cutler making the run in behind up the right side. And then Kafora mashed it ahead but out of play. And now a whole bunch of substitutes coming in. 2 for each team, it looks like. We'll get the announcement of those here. I see Ryan Bellavance coming in for the Raiders. For Holy Cross, Joseph Metzger's come in. So is Nicholas Sestaro. Uwe Omaragbe also in there for Colgate. So a couple Raider freshmen, Omaragbe and Bellavance, coming in. There's some of the regular subs off the bench for Eric Roning's team. Coach Roning, the second winningest coach all time, by the way, in Raiders men's soccer history. Looking for a career win number 86 tonight. Cutler pursuing this back pass. Wright had to take it maybe a little bit quicker than he would have liked. Good hustle by the junior for the Raiders, and Holy Cross eventually puts this out along the far side. Coach Ronning, by the way, in his 11th season leading the Raiders. His counterpart for Holy Cross, Marco Kuhlman, just his 4th season in Worcester, where he's gone 23, 32, and 11 for a .432 win percentage. But a highly successful head coach for about a decade and a half at the Division II level, most notably with the Ravens of Franklin Pierce University. And Sestaro with a shove in the back, giving away a free kick to the Raiders. Coach Kuhlman won a national championship at Franklin Pierce back in 2007. Members of the Northeast 10 Conference, they're regular rivals of my alma mater, Lemoyne College, in a conference that now has 15 members. So Northeast 10 with far worse math than the Big Ten Conference when it comes to number of teams in a conference named 10. Anyways, Ricky Brown takes the free kick for Colgate. We've gone past the half-hour mark of play in the opening half. Tyler Forbes with the only goal so far, 13 seconds shy of the 10-minute mark. Carl Brown looking wide for Skadari or Omar Agbe. The ball split in between both of them. Up ahead here, chested away by O'Neal. Heavy bounce. Got past Stroud at first, but Jared got there eventually. Leaves it there for Cutler. Goes back on his favored right foot. Back for O'Neal with some room ahead of him. Further back for Uligian, the big 6'4" center back, the tallest man out there for either team. He was on the move. Showed too much of the ball. And it was cleared out of play by Eddie Gibbons. Raiders making another substitution here with Rizzo coming on. He replaces Jared Stroud. Nice bit of juggling done there by Mupen. Ball ahead looking for Rizzo was off the mark. Left here for O'Neal in the middle of the park. Skadari making a run down the left flank. Mupen's moved inside for the moment. Bellavance getting it back from Skadari and further back to Carl Brown. For whichever team wins tonight, they'll match their win total from a season ago. Holy Cross went 5-9-3 last year. The Raiders 6-10-2. Coming in with 4 and 5 wins so far in 2015 respectively. And for either team, a win tonight would go a long way towards qualifying for the conference tournament. Of course, only the top 6 teams of the 10 in the Patriot League make it. The Raiders missed it last year, qualified 2 years ago, but were bounced in the first round by Holy Cross, 3-0 in Worcester. This is Villano. And good idea, poor execution. Way too much on that ball. And as his teammate Kafora was trying to make a run in behind between the center backs. And now Kafora will make way for Eddie Viscount. Brown's delivery was over Mupen. And Villano appeared to take a whack from Skadari in the back, favoring that as he gets up. He won the header, but Uligian has it now. The scorer of 2 goals and assister on another this year. Not bad for a center back. Long ball ahead from Cutler, and he was looking for Rizzo. He almost got there. Wright had to be decisive off his line, and he was, to beat Nick to that ball. And Rizzo, with those fresh legs, having just come in off the bench a couple of minutes ago, really hustling out there and putting a lot of pressure on the Holy Cross back 4. As is Mupen, with Viscount trying to turn away from him. This is lifted back to right, with Cutler trying to track him down. Wright playing it out wide for Frisetto. Holy Cross trying to build out of the back here. Headed away by Carl Brown. Taken down by Villano. He is led to the byline. Now the corner flag by Tommen. Villano trying to win a corner. That ball will not go out of play. Still Villano. Gets his way past O'Neill. Then Tommen steps in with a good, hard, but clean challenge to win the ball back, and O'Neill clears ahead. Taken down by the chest of Brad Ross. Holy Cross looks to go right back on the attack here. And a drive from distance, striking Bellavance, but the play is called back for a free kick coming up for the Raiders. And the referee will halt the game clock at 9:52. Looks like Mupen is the man down. But it doesn't look like Troy's going to need any further medical attention. Looks like the sophomore from Manchester, Jamaica is going to be okay. Aram Uligian to take the Colgate free kick. Just inside of 10 minutes to go before halftime. Cleared back to Carl Brown, and a mishandle of the ball by Scudari. Sees it head out for a Crusaders throw. In for Metzger. Bellavance got in the way. O'Neill slides in. Mupen hacks it out wide. Trying to get it back in. Little flick there, looking for Cutler. That was Omar Agbe trying to get it over to the team's leading goal scorer this year. Big header from Tommen. Knotted down by Bellavance and poked up into the night sky by Carl Brown. Header straight up off the noggin of Gavey. Metzger. Now Bellavance tries to find a teammate, no luck. So the Crusaders back in possession. Colgate dropping everyone except Rizzo and Cutler back behind the ball. Callahan got a wide. Into the middle it comes. Taken first time. The shot was blocked by Uligian, and Brown will grab it off the turf. That was Viscount, or I beg your pardon, that was Sestaro trying to get on the end of that little ball inside the Raiders' penalty area. Omar Agbe's throw sent right back to him. Here's Metzger. And a good try there in the back heel from Villano. A header down for the control by Villano once more. He gets it right back from Joseph Metzger. It's out wide here for Gavey. Gavey tries to march back inside with it. Yuji Callahan. It was his strike at Duke 4 nights ago that proved to be the game winner against the Blue Devils. Oh, and Cutler nearly picking off that back pass. Frisetto a little bit too casual with that one, and that could have been very dangerous for the Crusaders. Taken back by Bellavance. Cutler turning. Rizzo making a run. Offside flag stays down. Rizzo took too long to fire the shot, allowing the Crusaders center backs to come back and rob him of the ball. Tommen winning the ball back as Sestaro flopping to the ground. Here's Mupen operating along the left side right now. Could not find Scudari. Good header by Bellavance, but it's going to find a Crusader. It's Viscount. The physicality picking up as we move down the stretch in the first half. Cutler finds the afterburners, looking for Rizzo. He goes down to ground pretty hard, but too easily in the mind of the referee. who I think has had a very good first half so far, keeping the cards in his pocket, allowing the players to play, calling fouls when necessary. Brown tries to get there and makes a nice save on Nicholas Sestaro. When Brown knew he wasn't going to get there, he made himself as big as possible. The angle was difficult enough to begin with for the Crusader. And their first shot on target is the first save of the evening for Brown. It will be the first corner for Holy Cross with 5.5 minutes remaining before halftime. Each team making a change before the corner is taken. Stefan Sarkovic coming in for Holy Cross. And Chase Pagani enters the action for the Raiders. First touch of the game for Chase Pagani after Uligian hacked it blindly ahead for him. Cutler out wide left here, trying to weave his way through the Crusaders. Mupen lost the handle on it. Coming up on the last 4 minutes of the opening 45. Ball back at the feet of Holy Cross goalkeeper Kevin Wright. Nice header on. That one got jammed in between the heads of Uligian and Sestaro. The Crusaders get the ball out wide. Tommen out wide defending. Can't bring his man down. Referee tried to play advantage, but there was no advantage, so it will be a free kick for Holy Cross. Couple Crusaders will be over this one. I see Kafora over there. Referee moving Uwe Omaragbe, the only man in the Raiders' wall back, just a yard or two inside his own penalty area. This ball is whipped in, but not a lot of pace on it, and it was very easy for Ricky Brown to gather. Too close to the Raiders' goalkeeper. And that will clear the danger. Brown moves it ahead, now blasts ahead. The target is Rizzo, he's found him. Viscount. Laid this ball out wide. Got it back, now Kafora. Mupen sliding in, fair challenge there. This is hooked out wide for Gavey. Chase Pagani defending him, and defending him very well. Sliding challenge made by Bellavance, didn't clear it very far. Left back here for Gibbons, popped up into the air off the head of Rizzo. Couple Crusaders collide going for it. Raider appeals for handball or waved away. Mupen will try to track this down. Did not take a friendly hop for him at first. Troy tries to control, goes around looking for a free kick, but nothing given. Uligian steps in front of this through ball, and he will just clear it ahead, looking for and finding Cutler, who couldn't hang on to the ball. As we go into the last 100 seconds of the opening half. Corner coming up for Holy Cross as Uligian committed himself early going to ground in that sliding challenge and did enough to block the cross. Ricocheted off him and went behind. Second corner of the opening half coming up for our visitors from Worcester, Mass. They have taken 4 of the 6 total shots this evening. Have not yet really tested Raiders goalkeeper Ricky Brown. In comes this corner. Cutler's head meets it first. Collision between Gavey and O'Neill. Now Forsetto sends it ahead very high. And Olegian's the one who clears his line for Colgate. Back ahead once more. Carl Brown lets it go, and Ricky. And a little bit of a disagreement there between Brown and Matt Villano. Ricky taking exception to Villano's continued pursuit of the ball after the Raiders keeper had it. They exchanged some half-hearted shoves. Referee just waving at them to tell them to stop, so they did. Cutler got the smallest of touches on that. Now it is Rizzo who is offside, detected by the assistant on the far side. And that should just about do it for the first half. One last long delivery ahead. Nodded away by Carl Brown. And that is halftime here at Byers Small 76 Field. So far, so good for Colgate. Defending well, not allowing any serious chances for the Holy Cross attack, and the Raiders taking advantage on one of their two big opportunities. It was that brilliant strike by Tyler Forbes in the 10th minute that has the Raiders on top. So we hope you'll stick around for the second half of this one. Colgate trying to close this one out and get a much-needed win in the league. Good evening again and welcome back to Byers Small 76 Field here in chilly Hamilton. The Raiders with a 1-0 lead after 45 minutes of play, another 45 to go. We'll run through the first half box score here as Holy Cross gets set to take the second half kickoff. It was 36 degrees at the time of the first half kickoff. The mercury has dipped 3 degrees cooler, now just 1 degree above freezing as we get set for the second half of play. Colgate looking to see this one through, get a 6th win on the season, and more importantly than that, a 3rd win in league play, and to move into a tie for second place with Navy in the Patriot League standings. Early attack for Holy Cross. This ball played in, and Ricky Brown off his line just enough to keep it out for now. That ball staying in play along the byline. An early warning shot fired by the Crusaders just 20 seconds into the second half. Cutler pursuing this right a good 30 yards out of his goal to clear it ahead. A frenetic start to the second half, just 36 seconds in. It is controlled here by Diego Cerrone. Away from Callahan. Chase Pagani got a touch. Stroud trying to turn. Bends this one ahead. Nearly found his man Scudari. Couldn't, but he does get Cutler on a second try. Forbes, he is onside, and he is in alone. Tyler Forbes scored in the first half, and his shot is blocked and rockets up onto the roof of the net. Corner coming up for the Raiders. As Cutler trots over to take it, here's the box score from the opening 45 minutes of play. There were only 6 shots, 4 for Holy Cross, 2 for Colgate. The 2 from the Raiders, though, one went in. It was a brilliant strike by Forbes in the 10th minute for his first of the season. The other was that free kick from Cutler, a good 30 yards out, that rattled the woodwork, hit the outside of the post, and now a header off the corner. Misses wide. Olegian clutching his head and looking at the heavens in frustration after that free header just sailed wide of the far post. Back to Wright. He clears it ahead. Wright with no saves in the first half. Just 1 save for Ricky Brown of the routine variety. 11 fouls total called, 7 against Holy Cross, 4 against the home team. Referee, I thought, had a very good first half. There were no yellow cards handed out in the opening 45 minutes of play. Stroud handing this off nicely. Up the left side. This cross curled in and cleared away by Holy Cross. That was Scudari racing forward to send a dangerous ball into the area. Cutler trying to get on the end of it, and it was Brad Ross intervening with the header. This ball will finally roll behind for a Crusaders goal kick. Nearly 3 minutes gone in a very exciting opening their start to the second half. Already a total of 3 shots fired in the first 3 minutes after a total of 6 were attempted in the opening 45. Forbes tries to chip it to himself and does. Rails off the keeper. Cutler misfires. Chances galore for the home team. Forbes creates another one. That was just a dogged pursuit and determination by Tyler Forbes, flicking it to himself off the shoulder of the center back. Bright alertly and quickly off his line, shut down the angle. Cutler with a second chance, had to take it quickly, and could not get it on target. O'Neill plays it down, flicked ahead by Stroud, headed on, looking for Cutler, who's there with it, the junior from Lansing, New York, handing off for Chase Pagani. Now Cutler again, through the script gate, tries to get it back and does. Back to Stroud, nutmegs a defender, Cutler on his left boot, tries to curl it, but it wouldn't curl, it was always rising and always going wide. The Raiders with 4 shots already in this second half. And they have come oh so close to doing what no team has done to Holy Cross this year, and that is score more than 1 goal in a game against them. The Crusaders have been especially stingent in the second half of games this season when they've outscored the opposition 8-3. That's only 3 second half goals allowed through 12 prior games entering tonight. This cross comes in, a touchdown there, controlled by DeVivo. Lays it back out wide for Owen Azrak. Didn't see any action in the first half, in to start the second half, and Callahan's cross is blocked behind. Off Oberg. Corner coming up for Holy Cross. It will be the third of the game for the visitors. Over in that far corner, underneath a small crescent moon in the Hamilton night sky. This is whipped in low end with pace, but cleared away by Oberg. Azrak's long throw in, knotted down by Carl Brown, cleared away by the Raiders. Cutler, the lone man, forward after it, and he just clattered into Ryan Gavey. And referee's given a free kick for that. I think rightly so. Played forward by Wright, little header on. Callahan trying to spring himself in, working between Tommen and Chase Pagani. It almost worked out for the man from Japan. Pagani laid it ahead. Stroud, difficult pass to handle, but it works out nicely here for the diminutive Colin O'Neill before he trips over the ball and it rolls out of play on him. Gains some space up the near side for the throw-in from Cerrone. Chipped it off his opposite number 5, Stroud. Stroud reaching in to poke it away from Callahan. And now it is Cutler. Offside flag is up. Maybe a yard offside. Cutler boots the ball away in frustration. The resulting free kick is taken quickly by Brad Ross. Forbes pursuing this, almost gets there. Good yank on the shirt, and the referee opting not to play advantage. He'll give Holy Cross the free kick a few yards inside their own half, which again the visitors take quickly. An excellent pace for fans and broadcasters alike in this second half. We mentioned earlier on in this game that we wouldn't expect necessarily a lot of chances, a lot of scoring, and the first half kind of reflected that. Holy Cross very solid defensively. The Raiders have been as well this year. Colgate took advantage of its one big chance in the first half. Holy Cross really didn't generate anything, but plenty of great chances early on in the second half for Colgate. Just looking to capitalize on one and take a 2-goal lead. Still early on in the second half, just 8.25 minutes out of the locker room. Sloppy ball from Ryan Gavey, nearly tracked down by Cutler. Gavey eventually got it back to Wright. Wright to Ross. Ross up ahead, well over the head of a leaping Nicholas Sestaro. Pagani turned, worked it ahead. Stroud can't bring it down. He continues to battle for it. Ross gets it back here from Sarkovic. So Cerrone. Off the chest of Callahan. Just lifted ahead by Pagani. Return ball to him from Forbes. Pagani sidestepping Cerrone. Outside of his boot out wide. Looking for Scudari. He's there. Stroud making a run inside the area, but not enough from Scudari on that ball for Stroud, allowing Gibbons to intercept and clear ahead, and the Raiders opt to hold it in play. Spin move made by Oberg. Bends this past a pair of Crusaders. First time flick that found Cutler from Pagani. O'Neal couldn't get to this. Forbes looks to turn. Sliding challenge made. Had to be a good one. It was. Forbes back for Stroud. In alone. 2-0. Jared Stroud sliding past the corner flag, and the entire Colgate roster is there to jump on him in celebration. And for Stroud, it's his first of the season. He was better known for setting up goals instead of scoring them. He led the team and still does with 4 on the year, but this time it was Stroud finishing off a brilliant feed from Tyler Forbes, who has a goal and an assist tonight. Forbes in the 10th minute, Stroud in the 55th minute. Colgate scoring 9 minutes and 47 seconds into the opening half, 9 minutes and 39 seconds into the second half.
Holy Cross substitution, number 8, Justin Carpora, and for number 16, Stefan Sarkovic, also number 9.
For Holy Cross, a couple substitutions being made here as now the Crusaders find themselves in unfamiliar territory. They've conceded multiple goals for the first time this season. Dangerous-looking cross came in. Azrak with it now. Holy Cross trying to get one right back immediately. And a heavy touch there, still with the Crusaders. Cerrone fires one that took a deflection. I guess not. O'Neal somehow skipping out of the way. And so the shot just ended up going harmlessly wide for a Ricky Brown goal kick. The last time Holy Cross had given up multiple goals in a game was the season finale last year. 2-1 loss against Lehigh last November 8th on the final day of the 2014 regular season. And for the Raiders, that second goal was certainly coming. They started the second half on the front foot. Had several glorious chances prior to the one Stroud finished off. By the way, the other 2 Patriot League men's soccer games that were going on, the 7 p.m. kickoffs, their halftime scores were goalless at West Point between American and Army West Point, and Lehigh had a 1-0 lead over Loyola at the break there. We'll check in on those a little later on in tonight's broadcast. This is Kenny Copps with you here from Bayer Small 76 Field in chilly Hamilton, New York, where the first snowflakes of the, I won't say of the year, but of this upcoming winter season flew this morning. Chance for a few more overnight. This shot taken first time, but goes well wide. After a couple bodies collided there on the edge of the area. It will be a goal kick for Ricky Brown. We've now played a dozen minutes in this second half. The Raiders have padded their lead. Tonight's game for Colgate, the lone home one in a stretch of 5 out of 6 on the road. Uligian intercepts this. Now Scudari showing off his speed. Cutler controls. Got it back to Oberg. He sees Chase Pagani. The header from Pagani. Forbes all wrapped up there. Did well to hold up play and keep possession with the Raiders. Now Scudari flying up the left side. Can't get there in time. That ball was always hooking out of play. Following tonight's game, the Raiders will be on the road for 3 straight. Their final non-conference game on Tuesday at Hartwick at 7. Then they're down in Annapolis against Navy next Saturday at 6. And they're at West Point a week and a half from now on Wednesday the 28th. 7 p.m. kickoff against the Black Knights. Callahan trying to counter quickly. Cerrone cuts back inside, looks for some room, gets it back, wants to take the shot. Oberg did just about enough in that challenge to make Cerrone hop up out of the way. Couldn't get any kind of a shot off, and Forbes nearly got on the end of that ball that kind of ate up Ross and eventually came through to Gavey. Ross with it again here. Callahan with some room along the near side. A sliding Pagani knocks it out away from Cerrone. Cerrone's cross. Good bit of control. Gafora's first time shot blocked. Now Gibbons pops it up inside the area. Header away by Uligian. Cerrone off his knee. Whips this one back in. Another header from Uligian. Now it is Pagani. Nice bit of control for Stroud. Forbes saw Ross step in front of him, take it away. Not a bad delivery from him, but Carl Brown with the height advantage against Matt Villano. And Ricky Brown has got it. After the upcoming 3 straight road games, Colgate wraps up the regular season with 2 conference games at home. Loyola on Halloween at 4, and Lafayette the following week, November 7th, also at 4. Tommen and O'Neill team up to take the ball away from DeVivo. Uligian, very strong, working his way past a couple of Crusaders. A misfire from O'Neill. Back here for Carl Brown. So we've moved past the 1 hour mark of elapsed time. At the break I said so far so good for the Raiders. Well, so far so much better in the second half for the Raiders. 1 goal each side of halftime. And they're deservedly in the lead. I think it's safe to say so far. Scudari. That was not a good challenge there. Callahan lunging in. Got none of the ball on all of Bruno Scudari. He went flying through the air and clattered to the ground, but he's popped right back up off the floor and appears to be all right. No further action taken by the referee on Callahan. Cutler over this free kick from a long ways out for the Raiders. Carl Brown staying back as Uligian and Tommen make their way forward. Probably in excess of 40 yards out. We've seen him go for goal from this distance before. Uligian's little flick and right makes a brilliant stop as Uligian finds himself all by himself. No more than 8 yards out. Didn't get much of a touch on it, but right, nonetheless, a very critical save to keep Holy Cross within striking distance here. Stroud sees Gibbons take it away from him. Oberg just muscling Carfora off the ball. Pagani, and he runs out of room. A double change for the Raiders, a single change for the Crusaders. Scudari and Pagani coming out. Mupen back in, along with Omar Agbe. And for the Crusaders, it is DeVivo making way. Now we get the throw in from Holy Cross. It's Arno Rupp, number 9, for the white and purple clad visitors from Worcester, making his first appearance of the evening. O'Neill meets this excellent bit of control. Boot to shoulder, then he goes down looking for a free kick. Not a whole lot in that. As Rupp, very large 6'3" sophomore forward from Wolfsberg, Austria. He's got a couple of assists to his name this year. Powerful clearance from Ricky Brown. Forbes and Gavey both went up for and both missed it. Callahan tries to get a combination play here. He continues his run. Gets the ball a little bit behind him. Carl Brown nudges it away. Still here with Holy Cross. This is picked out Gibbons. Gibbons over for Cerrone. Gets a crack of daylight. Closed down by Mupen. Callahan shows too much of the ball to Omar Agbe. Uwe took it away from him. Raiders, though, pinned in their own half right now. Sliding clearance made by Omar Agbe. That ball dies along the far touchline. So Gibbons, with a couple Raiders closing him down. Now Cerrone pressured by Mupen. Troy didn't start the second half. Came on a minute or two ago as part of that Colgate double change. This is Rupp. Outside of his boot, Tommen in the way. And Tommen clears ahead. Off the chest of Cutler looking for Forbes. And a shoulder-on-shoulder collision there between him and Callahan. Both went crashing down. Both went popping right back up. Callahan got to that ball. And this cross is blocked out for a throw for Holy Cross deep inside the Raiders' half. We had a total of 6 shots attempted in that first half. We've had 15 in the second half. Or no, that's not right. We've had 11 in the second half. I was not a math major, and you can see why. Well, anyways, Colgate now with 9 for the game compared to 8 for Holy Cross. This cross is broken up by O'Neill, who turns it behind. It will be the Crusaders' 4th corner of the evening. The home team with a 7-4 edge in shots so far in the second half. Corner taken short, comes in very high, and Forbes was the one who tracked back to win the header. Now Cutler, can the Raiders counter? It's given away. Ross making a run. Not the best of balls towards him. Ross gets to this. Uligian out to defend. His cross comes in very high, and Ricky Brown, well, he grabbed it but draws a free kick anyways. Then he slams the ball down in frustration. The referee is going to stop the clock, and this will be a yellow card for Ricky Brown. Our first one of the game either way. And for the Raiders keeper, it's the first such booking he has received this season, just the second of his career. And this is 46th appearance in the maroon and gray. Here's Mupen. Stroud. Oberg. O'Neill. Uligian. Clock didn't start for quite a long time there. Now it's ticking underway. Anyways, it's Cerrone. This is whipped across. Callahan chips it to himself around Omar Agbe. Carl Brown steps out wide to defend him. Played inside the area. A couple Crusaders collide, and this will be a corner. Tommen was locked up there shoulder on shoulder with Villano. It's a line drive there. Full scramble mode. Brown up for it. Couldn't find it. The ball's still free. And Tommen swung his right leg at it and just cleared his line. Pretty good response by Holy Cross since falling 2 goals down about 12 minutes ago. Starting to look dangerous again on the attack, but so far, the Raiders' defense and Ricky Brown have kept them out. Tim Oberg fires the ball ahead. He wants to find Forbes. Didn't at first. Cutler came flying in to break up the play. The ball rocketing out off his studs. Headed along, O'Neal losing it momentarily. With help from a teammate, it's sprayed out wide for Mupen. He had Stroud making a run up ahead. And that's Carl Brown looking to pick out the man with the captain's armband on tonight. Forbes, referee, ducking out of the way. Nice bit of agility shown there by Thomas George on this chilly Saturday evening in Hamilton. Oberg for Carl Brown. A couple dozen seconds away from the midway mark of the second half. Cutler had continued his run along that far touch line. Likes to come in from that left wing. Couple step overs there. Takes it towards the byline. Crosses whipped in. Ross intervenes. Up ahead here for Sestaro. And now they're trying to find Rupp. As Kafara tried to pick him out. Not a bad ball. Rupp got a touch but couldn't control. Tomlin was being closed down. His clearance. Just enough to get it across the halfway line and keep it in play. So it is Ross. On the ground up ahead. Sestaro. Now Rupp, driven across the face of goal, and attacking it looked like Sarkovic in the middle. Could not get any touch on it though. It was a good ball in, really whipped in. So the Crusaders must double back and build again. Callahan not on the same page with Sestaro that time. Carl Brown had time to gather and fire ahead, and Cutler thought he was wrestled to the ground. The referee disagreed, and his, of course, opinion is the opinion that it matters in cases such as those. So it is Cerrone. Rupp out wide left, staying onside, showing a lot of the ball there to Troy Mupen, the Jamaican, hustling over to bomb it out of play. A few more personnel changes being made here. For the Raiders, Abdel Sanogo coming in, along with Nick Rizzo. Forbes is checking out, as is Cutler. For Holy Cross, Cerrone is the man heading out of play. Eric Dixon checking in for the first time this evening. Sanogo pursuing this one off the bat. Dixon chips it around one man, but O'Neal gets there for the Raiders. O'Neal is taken out of the play. Referee gives the free kick. Sanogo for Colgate, related to a couple of professional footballers in Europe. The more famous of those two, Yaya Sanogo, property of Arsenal, currently on loan with the famous Dutch club Ajax. Stroud on this free kick. Mupen takes this, sidesteps his man. Back for Stroud, scorer of the second goal this evening. Great cross, and the header flashes just wide of the near post. That time Colgate doing everything right except score. Holy Cross keeper Kevin Wright urging his teammates forward. They've seen the clock tick inside of 20 minutes to play. Strong header made by Stroud. Hustle by Rizzo. More hustle by Sanogo to keep this in play. With Stroud making a run. Back for Sanogo. Along the byline. Plays it right at right. But the offside flag was up. And it would not have counted had it gone in. Wright plays it short to Ross. Raiders pressing up a bit here. After Holy Cross has had more of the possession in the second half. Colgate sitting back a little bit more defensively, as you would expect with a 2-goal lead and now inside 19 minutes to play. A very dangerous team, very quick team to can hit you on the counter. I've done that numerous times this season. And Brown watches that rising shot from Sestaro sail over his crossbar. Sestaro firing that blast from the edge of the 18-yard box. With a lot of power behind it, but the shot was always rising. Would not stay down for the sophomore from Massapequa, New York. The Crusaders trying the long ball over the top. It was over the top of everyone, and Ricky Brown will pick it up now as Nicholas Sestaro is coming in close on him. Referee waiting to see if there would be an advantage. There was none. O'Neill's had a lot of great challenges tonight. Got that one wrong. Gives away the free kick. Referee will stop the clock at 17:27. Wants to converse with O'Neill. And the yellow card is coming out. I think it's certainly earned it with that challenge. O'Neill becomes the second Raider to be booked this evening. Ricky Brown receiving the game's initial yellow card about 8.5 minutes ago. Holy Cross with a throw now deep inside the Raiders' half. Trying to make the long throw work here. Tommen the first man to it, and he headed it over the roof of goal. So it'll be a corner for Holy Cross, corner number 5. Make it corner number 6 of the evening. 4 of those coming this side of halftime. It's a strong defensive header that time from Tommen. Very high, deep delivery on this corner. Then they try to head it back across the frame of goal, but it sails behind. So goal kick for the Raiders. Substitution for the Raiders. The clock will stop here. 16.
Colgate substitution, number 30.
Well, I thought the referee signaled for the clock to stop. Maybe I was mistaken. And now it will at 16:23. Referee heading over to the far side. He's going to talk to the fourth official. Probably put some more time back on the clock. I think it was around 16:34 when he first signaled to stop it. And they add 9 seconds back on, so 16:32 remaining. And Ricky Brown will take this goal kick. And they've put it back to 16:24, so Brown takes the goal kick. And Uligian trying to find the run of Sanogo, looking to head it to himself. Ross cut down the angle. Back once more for Uligian. Nice bit of control by the Raiders, and now it is Sanogo once again looking to get in behind. Gavey had to step in front of him. Gibbons dancing away from Rizzo. And the Raiders substitutes coming in looking energized, and they're really hustling, putting pressure on the ball, and they've won the ball back here deep inside the Holy Cross half. Some step overs there, and a sliding challenge made it. It was a good, clean one as Gavey committed himself with Omar Agbe charging up the right side of the Holy Cross defense. It will be a corner for the Raiders, just their third of the game, with just a little more than a quarter of an hour remaining. The Raiders trying to close out what would be a very important third conference win of the season. Cutler looking to help tack on another one here. Strong defensive header made by Callahan. Both he and Tomino there attacking this ball. Can Holy Cross generate something on the counter here? O'Neal back defending, helping out. The ball was not where Omorogbe wanted it, however. And a chance perhaps with Rupp making a run ahead. It's 2 against 1 now, and the referee waving away appeals for a penalty. There was a lot of contact there between the Crusader on the attack and Aram Uligian. But I mentioned earlier the referees had a great game, and I think he got that one right as well. Holy Cross making a substitution here prior to this Eric Dixon throw.
Holy Cross substitution number 18, Joey
DeVivo back into the game. The leading scorer this year for Holy Cross, with 4 of the team's 13 goals entering play tonight. Ross fires this in. O'Neal tried to step in front. Sestaro out wide. The cross comes in at the near post. Villano got a touch on it, but he could not redirect it on target, only knocked it behind. And the Raiders can burn some more precious seconds off the game clock with exactly 13 and a half minutes to go. Referee Thomas George telling Ricky Brown to get on with it. And one thing of note is that Brown's got to be very careful he doesn't get a yellow for time wasting down the stretch here, because he did pick up a yellow card for dissent earlier on in this second half. Gafora gets this out wide. That ball ricocheting around among several pairs of legs. The Crusaders try to get a cross in, and they do. It's over everyone. DeVivo was the closest man to it at the far post.
Colgate substitution number 3, Bruno Scudari, in for number 7.
Colgate making a defensive-minded substitution here with Omorogbe being replaced by Scudari. Free kick coming up for Holy Cross. I beg your pardon, for Colgate. As Stroud took a whack up high, went to the ground in a lot of pain. The ball is fired right back into him as he's still down on the floor. And now the referee's going to stop the clock at 11:51, and he's going to go speak with his assistant on the far side. As we see Colgate getting ready to make another change. Quick check on the scores from the other 2 Patriot League games going on right now. Lehigh still 1-0 up on Loyola. About 10 minutes to go there. And American and Army West Point still goalless in the 77th minute in West Point. Here comes the free kick from the Raiders. Uligian got his head onto it. Could not redirect the delivery. It was a pretty good delivery, but he couldn't put it on target.
Colgate substitution number 14, Ethan Cutler, in for number 9.
O'Neal is up and pressing on Kafora. During that delay before that most recent Raiders free kick, by the way, a yellow card was issued to the Holy Cross coaching staff. This ball is led out wide, where Dixon tracks it down. Dixon tries to curl this one in. It comes through on Ricky Brown, and handled very well by the Raiders keeper. Nice bit of defending by Uligian, not allowing DeVivo to get a boot on that and put it on target. Ross and Rizzo jumping for that. It's fallen for Dixon. O'Neal met it. Cutler tried to leave it for Stroud, who came sliding in. Another substitution coming up for the Raiders here as Rizzo's going to check out of the action. 10:30 remaining on the Bayer Small 76 scoreboard. Forbes has come back in, replacing Rizzo. Forbes scored his first of the year, 13 seconds shy of the 10-minute mark in the first half. And he assisted on Stroud's first of the year, 21 seconds shy of the 10-minute mark of the second half. That accounts for all of our goal scoring so far. The Raiders will be more than happy if that remains all of our goal scoring tonight. Callahan's run that ball out of play. Tommen chests it down off balance, cleared it ahead. Mupen not going to win this race. Working against Dixon. Dixon laid it back. Kafora with it there. Tried a back heel for Dixon. Didn't quite work out. Kafora gets it again. That ball popped up straight into the air. Kafora and Mupen jostling for position. Neither can find the ball. And a timely touch made by Gibbons to prevent Cutler from breaking away with that. Outside of the boot, wide left side for Dixon. Fewer than 9 minutes to go. Brown's after this, and he has got it. With a couple of Crusaders crashing into him. Referee playing advantage. One of the Holy Cross players who collided with Ricky Brown. A bit slow to get up, but he appears to be all right now. As Brown has fired this to Mupen. Mupen composed under pressure. Cutler allowed the ball to run. I think he came back from an offside position. Ross leaving it there for his keeper, Wright. And Wright will send it long. The deficit remains 2 for the Holy Cross Crusaders. The Raiders just 8 minutes and 20 seconds away from a huge 3 points in the league. Trying to move into a second place tie with Navy. Forbes to Stroud and a head up the right side. Cutler pursuing this. Cutler getting to this. He's the only man forward for now with reinforcements on the way. Cutler holding it up there just along the byline. Here's Forbes. Sloppy ball for Mupen. Troy almost able to yank it by the defender. Sliding in, as he has done so well tonight, Colin O'Neill. Mupen's gotten this back. Edge of the area behind Forbes, but Forbes has time to regather and play it back out wide. Raiders maintaining possession deep inside the Holy Cross half. Scudari trying to get to this. A battle for it. Scudari goes down, and that ball eventually rolling out of play. Scudari just threw it away into the corner. The clock will stop at 7:20. The free kick is taken quickly by Wright, as Scudari received a talking to from the referee and nothing more. Callahan drops this back. Gibbons. Dixon. Sestaro fending off one man, but his cross is a poor one. Going behind on the fly. Goal kick for Ricky Brown following this Raiders substitution.
Colgate substitution, number 24, Garrett Leahy. In now for number 5, Diego Thoreau.
And that's first-year player Garrett Leahy coming in. Just the second time he's seen the field this year for the Crusaders. They've got a pair of home games coming up, by the way. Non-conference against Northeastern on Wednesday, home to Lafayette on Saturday as they resume conference play. Mupen up the left wing here, or up the left side of the Crusaders' defense for Cutler. Cutler very deliberate. And his cross could not be held in play by Wright, so it will be a corner for the Raiders. And Cutler in no rush whatsoever to take this corner. Why would he be, given the score and time remaining? He's there with Mupen. He drives this ball in. It's behind Uligian. He had gone forward as Tommen and Carl Brown stayed back. Ball cleared by the Crusaders, and as Uligian was backpedaling, he got his head on that ball. Calling for it was Kafora. Intercepting it, Mupen. Controlling it, O'Neill. Up the right side to Ethan Cutler. Racing past a pair of Crusaders and tries what would have been a spectacular curling effort. But the ball would not stay down or curl for him. It actually sailed over the windscreen and clattered into the visiting team stands over at Andy Kerr Stadium. So Wright's goal kick, high into the night with 4:40 remaining. Kafora controls, a couple grabs on the shirt by Oberg. Little header by Scudari, and Matt Villano, the man who is chasing the ball, allows it to roll behind for a corner. Holy Cross sending nearly everyone forward, save the goalkeeper and Ryan Gavey for this. Corner number 7 this evening for the Crusaders. Not a good effort as Forbes hacks it away. Cutler helps it on its way. Forbes was racing after it, almost got there, but it's fed back to right by Gibbons. Now Callahan dropping deep to get a touch. Looking for Ross, and it's going to land there for Ross. The cross cut out by Tommen, and it ricochets on a nice friendly hop off the field turf back into the hands of Ricky Brown. He takes his time as he gestures his teammates forward and sends the ball skyward. Mupen with time to bring it down, misread it at first, leaping in there against Ross. Callahan gets it back. Callahan dancing around Mupen and Oberg, crashed a bit into Oberg and is slow to get up following the collision. Villano with a man wide to his right. Plays it out to him, and O'Neill has been everywhere. The diminutive, defensive-minded midfielder for the Raiders has played a very strong game tonight. He's been involved on seemingly every other tackle, and every time the Raiders win the ball back in their own half, he has at least one hand in it, if not two. Cutler has this taken away from him by Ross, has a go from distance. A very selfish, ambitious effort, probably born out of frustration more than anything else at this juncture of the game. And Brown had it easily covered if that shot had been on target. The Raiders are not far away now. Sloppy back pass, and Forbes nearly got there again. Wright just did win the foot race. Callahan in the battle with Oberg. Dixon. Uligian coming over to win it back. Who touched it last? Sestaro did. A 2-goal lead for Colgate with fewer than 2 minutes to play. Dixon throw to Callahan. Holy Cross must do something very special to come back and level the score and force overtime. A leaping header made by Tommen. O'Neill allowing Mupen to play it. The speedy sophomore from Jamaica has Cutler streaking ahead. He's onside with his run. Ball rolled just a bit past him, though, as he couldn't bring it down on the fly, and that prevented the Raiders' junior and leading goal scorer from being in alone one against the keeper with a chance to make it 3-0. Callahan's cross, pretty good one, taken down there by DeVivo, taken back by Tommen and cleared ahead by the native of our nation's capital. And a free kick now coming up for the Raiders. Azrak gives it away as we're just seconds away from the announcement of the final minute.
1 minute to play.
Mupen with it here. Takes it wide before Dixon wrestled him to the turf. one last chance to surge forward in the final half minute for Holy Cross. Oberg still pressing the ball, nearly took it away there from Ross, who hammers it forward. The header from Tommen, and it's out for a Holy Cross throw. For Colgate, it will be a deserved win tonight. Opportunistic in the first half, dominant early in the second half, very strong defensively, and now it is official. Our final score this evening from Bayer Small 76 Field, Colgate 2, Holy Cross 0. And the Raiders' next conference game will decide second place in the conference standings. They leap up over Lafayette, now tied with Navy with 9 points each in league play. So tied for second in the Patriot League as the Raiders are now 3-2 in league play, 6-1 overall, matching their win total from a year ago. And so Holy Cross cannot carry over any momentum from that win at Duke in midweek. The Crusaders dropped to 5-4 this year, won 2-2 in the Patriot League, and they remain in sixth place in the conference standings with 5 points. Colgate with 3 in a row on the road after this at Hartwick on Tuesday, at Navy next Saturday, at Army a week from Wednesday, back home in a fortnight. 4 p.m. kickoff against Loyola on a very busy Halloween Saturday on Family Weekend 2015 here at Colgate. We hope you come out and join us for that one. This time, though, the Raiders victorious 2-0 over Holy Cross. Tyler Forbes in the 10th minute, Jared Stroud in the 55th, accounting for all of the goal scoring here this evening. And that is going to wrap up our coverage of Colgate men's soccer. For a complete post-game reaction, recap, and final stats, be sure to log on to GoColgateRaiders.com. For everyone here at Bayer Small who helped bring this game to you, this is Kenny Kopp saying good night and thanks for watching on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders.